I thought I'd do a quick video on this Compass Relic Magnum 7 I have. It's very similar to a lot of the Compass metal detectors out there. And a lot of guys are kind of asking online how to tune them up, how to test them. They've been sitting maybe for 20 or 30 years, maybe even 40. So they do get a little oxidized on their controls, so they don't always work for the first 5 or 10 minutes. But in general, I'll tell you what I did to make it work better or get it going. First thing you want to do, of course, have a battery compartment lid missing. You want to pull out your 12 batteries in total out of here. And there's 3 sets of 4, and replace all the batteries. Check for contact issues on the batteries and the leads and everything. A lot of times the problems are associated with the batteries and the connectors, so that's a major issue. Is my focus good or not? I know, it's okay. It's good. Hey, so in general, once you get your batteries placed, you want to test out the unit. Best way to do it is throw it on a bench. Make sure there's no metal anywhere near that coil, because it's looking for metal and making a lot of noise sometimes, and you don't know about it. That's not good. So in general, this right here switch should be left in the manual position. This here switch is for your tuning, and it's turned off right now, so it's dead quiet. That starts up the whole machine. This one right here is your speaker tilt switch, and use it in the off position for now for a test, as well as the ground bounce. Ground balancing should be anywhere you want. Midsection is fine, I don't really care. It's only used when you're in the field and you're in mineralized ground and it becomes an issue. Sorry for all the shaking on my camera. Where else? The discrimination right here, turn it all the way over to the 1. You don't really, oh, perfect focus. And sensitivity, turn it all the way over to the high end. Really sensitive. And what I do over here is I put the tone in the middle, but it's your preference of what you're looking for a tone between a high squeal and a low pitch squeal. Somewhere in the middle is good for me. And oh yeah, there's actually a button right here on the very top of the handle. You can see right there. That's used for changing 2 states of detecting for metal. One is to discriminate between trash, and the other one, and that's when it's tipped. Oops, sorry. When it's tipped that way. Hang on. Close app. Okay. And the other side is just right here in the VLF mode when you flick it that way. So let's quickly test this machine out. This one I've obviously put some time into making it work. You turn this knob here up a little bit. You'll see that the battery check goes first, and then it goes back down to neutral. Like, would have been nice if it went off the rails like it usually does when you get it brand new. But in general, you flick that switch over to VLF mode and it will 0. Oops, this wants to fall down. So I slide something underneath it. That's your speaker there, by the way. Okay, so once you've done that, and you zeroed out this part right here, what you want to do, man, I am so shaky. Do I need some coffee or what? You want to turn this knob until you hear it buzzing. And that's too loud. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. So you can just barely hear it coming out of the speaker. Wow. I need a new phone. So what you want to do now is, it is tuned. You can pull this as many times as you want towards the VLF position. And like I said, it takes a couple seconds. As long as it roughly heads for 0, it should be ready to work now. So theoretically, you should be able to take a coin and swing it across here, and it should detect the metal. And depending on how well you tune it to that sound with this, oops, I don't want to push the wrong button here. With this right here, you will be able to read or listen to different tones easier. As you see, look at how it's drifted a little bit. These detectors actually like to be warmed up 5 minutes before they actually become used. So as it's drifted a little bit, I'm going to now center it. Okay. And now, of course, it still works. In general, here's, by the way, this is the manual that comes with these things. I'll skim through it with you. In general, if you buy a detector, the first things you want to do, of course, is replace the batteries, as mentioned, and run it through this sequence. If you find there's problems, if this needle wanders a lot, or if you're thinking there's a loose connection, what you want to do is you want to tap a bunch of things and see if they respond to a tap. If they do, if they move violently left or right, if it makes the needle move violently left or right as you tap this, then there's obviously an issue with that component. So, and I'll go through the whole thing. I'll just tap all these various parts with a pencil or a pen, and you just check each one and watch what happens with the needle. If the needle swings over to somewhere else, you know you have a loose connection underneath that component. And same thing with the battery compartment. You'd open it up and touch the little leads on the batteries, and if you see the needle swing violently one way or the other, you know you have a loose connection in the leads with the battery. Or even up here, just tap everything in sight. Yeah, you're basically trying to find the loose connections, because 40 years, a 40-year-old component like this, or a metal detector like this, has a lot of loose connections just from oxidization, from sitting, even, here, I'll just turn this off for a sec. Even these parts right here, they might have been sitting for 40 years doing nothing. So what you want to do, oh my, I'm getting old. Yeah, what you want to do is you want to move these things several times to break in or through the oxidization on the component. Because underneath this component, there's a part, a wiper blade, that's sweeping through a bunch of carbon material, but it's probably not seating properly sometimes if it's been sitting for a long time in some guy's shop or some guy's garage. Same with all these things. You just open up quickly and go like this. And just to get it working, you run through each one of these components, swinging them back and forth. The switch, same thing, off and on 50 times until finally it breaks through the oxidization on the component and you make solid contact. Same thing, you just run through again, just tapping on everything to see if it's working, if the needle stays still. Yeah, these things are, just the age of the machine forces some things to have problems. I did actually pull this apart and I swapped these switches around, and I did solder any cold solder joints that I thought were hanging around. And actually, I replaced all the cables or all the battery connectors in here as well. They seem to always have problems between the batteries and there. You can tell as soon as you open it up and you turn it on, you start tapping the connectors there, or the battery leads. This thing just goes nuts because there's loose connections in there. So you have obviously a voltage problem when you have it swinging around with a loose, even a subtly loose connection. Here we go. Let me just get this going again. Wait for it. Okay, good, and then I'll just turn up the noise a little bit. That's a little much. That's just perfect. You can barely hear that. Again, here's the coin test, and here's a 1 quart paint can test. I guess it's actually more. So you can be, this is about 3 feet away. Yeah. One thing I thought I'd do is also just show you the manual. I don't think there's also an instruction section here on how to ground balance this, and hopefully this is clear enough. Oh, there's a good shot. That's probably a good shot. So ground balancing is a little finicky, but it only takes like 10-15 seconds if you do it right, and but you have to read the whole darn thing. I think there's 2 more pages here. And of course you're stopping the screenshots while I do this, so you can read for about 10 minutes and then start it up again. Yeah, sweep these things kind of slow, about 4 seconds in between one side to the other, so it's a slower detector than the new things, the new technology. I've used Mine Labs and Gold Bugs and stuff. But yeah, and Garrett's and the whites. But I like these old ones. They actually go pretty deep, considering not as deep as a Mine Lab, but you're $5,000. I think that's into that. Yeah, so you can hit a lot of stuff down. I don't think 48 inches is possible on this detector under any condition. You'd be on a truck and not find it at 48 inches, but I do know you can hit a large paint can at 36 inches. Anyhow, enjoy.